welcome to BK Academy. This is Black Knight, and we're going to take a look at positions where the white rook controls the promotion square and the white king is behind the pawn. Can white win this position? Is black to move? How do we know? You count the squares it takes for the white king to get to G2 to the promotion. E2 if the black king was on the G file. And you compare that with the number of squares it takes for black to set up for the promotion. 5. 5 to 6 is black to move. We can say that black can hold this position and get the draw as such. Unfortunately, it's not always that easy. Let's take another look. Let's take a look at another position. Let's take a look at what happens if it was white to move. Now we counted 6 squares to get the king to G2 compared to 5 moves to get black in position to promote. 6 to 5 is white to move. White holds the position, arriving just in time to stop the promotion. Of course, it's not always that simple. You have to make sure that you count the squares, that you use the correct path, because if we look at this position, we see that the white king can make it to G2 in 5 moves. However, black's king is not going to let white king take that route. The correct route, if black plays correctly, will be this. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see. You see, he cannot continue on the original route, so he has to move here. Now he has to move there. Now black king can set up for the promotion and save the game. That white cannot win this position. However, he does have one trick. Now, and I like this as the best try. I would consider this to be the best try. He checks with the rook from the side. Then he moves his king to gain the opposition from the back. And if you look at this position, imagine if this was the back row, going all the way across, right? Now, as soon as black pushes his pawn, to convert, he would just bring his rook down to A3 and claim checkmate. And that's the plan here. And so black continues holding this, white continues to hold this position. You see? So what is black to do? That's right, converts to a knight and saves the game. So that the white king can win from D8, but not from C7. Well, how about C6? Well, he cannot simply move his king to G2, so he must resort to other tactical means. And yes, white can win, and I'll show you how. By broadsiding the king. Now you might ask, Black Knight, how can white get his king over to attack the pawn from this position? I'll show you how. By checking the king, he forces it to the F file, giving his king opportunity to approach the pawn. See? Now he just waits to gain the position to stop the promotion. And there it is. See? Now, take a look at this. Suppose black just moves his king forward. Again, white gains the opposition from the side, waits for the pawn to push, forces it to the F file, and his king approaches. First, by protecting his rook, then attacking the pawn. Now how should white play? Exactly, pin the pawn, then take it. How about this? Suppose white doesn't push the pawn and instead pushes his king to prevent white from checking. Then white attacks from the back with this king. See? Now how should white play? Hold your horses, don't attack the pawn yet, check the king, now attack, and take it on the next move. Now, let's take a look at one more position. Go back to our original position, except the rook is on d1. It takes white's king 6 moves to get to g2, and it takes black 5 moves to set up for the promotion. And it's white to move. Now here, black causes white to have to waste a move to protect his rook. And he saves the game. In this predicament, normal way of winning by bringing the king forward doesn't work because of the poor position of the rook. So we just can't just continue pushing on with the king. We have to think of something different. And you come across this. You check the king. Figure, oh well, I have nothing to lose here. But then you realize, if the king steps to the side, well, let's take a look at this one first. Say the king steps down in front of the pawn, and you see the X-ray attack on the pawn, you go for it, and of course the king drops back to protect the pawn. But then you realize, with this new placement of the rook, that you should be able to hold the position. And you go for it. Because just as soon as the king approaches the rook, it's in position now to take the pawn. You see? So even if, say, the king steps to the side and then comes back, we still can hold the position just as we did by approaching the king to e2. Instead, we approach to g2. And because the rook's in position to attack the pawn, when the king attacks the rook, we could have took the pawn, but we didn't. It doesn't matter, because we'll do it on the next move. Thanks for tuning in.